eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā. Bhagavati uttama-shloke bhaktir bhavati nishtaki. Ārādhayo bhagavāna vrajeshitanayas tadhāma vrindavanam. Ramya kāchitupāsana vrajavadhu vargena va kalpita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam pramanam amalam prema pumartho mahan. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu matamidam tatradara naparaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining in this reading of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam today, Canto 10, Chapter 20, entitled The Rainy Season and the Autumn in Vrindavan. So, we are reading this beautiful chapter, which has a lot of life lessons also. And we are almost towards the end of the chapter. We have just last, you can say, 5-7 verses left. So we'll complete this in the next few days. And today we are going to start from text number 42. In the last call, if you remember, we were discussing about how the farmer erects the banks, mud banks, to keep the water controlled. Similarly, a spiritualist has walls of regulative principles so that we don't transcend our boundaries. We know our boundaries, we know our limits, we know what is, the boundaries, so that we don't transgress that. And these are boundaries to free us from the bonds. These boundaries free us from the bond of material life. If we think we are free, we are just free to be kicked by Maya. Like a stray dog. A stray dog thinks he's free, but all he gets is harsh sun, the cold winter, bitten by other dogs, fighting with other dogs. But the pet dog has a leash, has a boundary, knows the limit set by his master. And then he does not transcend the limits, but he gets unlimited, gains by following that. So that's what we covered. We'll move on to the next verse, text number 42. Sharad arkamshu jamstapan bhutanam udupoharat deha bhimana jambodho mukundo raja yoshitam. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Avicharana Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada disciples ki Jai. The autumn moon relieved all creatures of the suffering caused by the sun's rays, just as the wisdom relieves a person of the misery caused by his identifying with his material body. And as Lord Mukunda relieves Vrindavan's ladies of the distress caused by their separation from him. Wow. Again, a beautiful verse. So there are two analogies given here, or three aspects. A devotee cannot tolerate separation from Krishna. It is very, it's the most difficult thing. It's the biggest distress, as mentioned here. The gopis of Vrindavan, the biggest distress was not headache, stomach ache, knee problem, or less income, or the child is not listening. No, that was not at all a distress. What was the biggest distress? As we read in the last chapter also, Krishna drank the forest fire, and then he extinguished the forest fire of separation of the gopis. They were feeling the fire of separation. So that was the biggest distress. And Mukunda relieves, Lord Mukunda relieves. Mukundo Vraja Yoshitam. So he relieves the distress. The other example here is the wisdom relieves a person of the misery caused by identifying with the material body. So this reminds me of a verse by the Avaduta. He suffered a lot of distress. What was this? He was a nice merchant before he became an Avaduta. He was attached to family, attached to grains, attached to wealth, attached to property, etc. Finally, tables turn, and then he loses everything because he was so miserly. So miserly, didn't want to give anything to his family also, what to speak of giving to others. He would not give anything to his wife, children. And everyone left, friends left, family left, thieves robbed him. Everything was lost. At the end, he became a transcendentalist. But then he says a very nice verse. What is the cause of misery? Is my family the cause of my misery? No. Are my stars? People sometimes say, Shani is there, moon is in this direction, moon is in this house, Shani is in this house, Saturn, and all these zodiac signs are not the cause of problem. Okay, then what? Is my body the cause of problem? No, my body is also not the cause of problem. What is the cause of all the problems? Are the demigods cause of the problem? No, they are also not the cause of problem. Are the neighbors cause of the problem? No, they are also not the cause of problem. What is the real cause of problem? The real cause of problem is my own mind. So when we identify ourselves with this body, that becomes the cause of all the problems. Krishna bholi se jivanadir bahirmukh ate tare maya de samsara sukh. That's the next example. As the wisdom relieves a person, so that knowledge, that tattva gyan, that vastu gyan, that knowledge, I was hearing this class yesterday from His Grace Adigadar Prabhu. He was mentioning quoting a very nice scripture, that our Nitya Dharma is to serve Krishna. Like the Nitya Dharma of water is liquidity, right? To flow. But under external circumstances, also called nimitta. Nimitta means a circumstance, you can say, or a situation, or an object, right? You become a factor. Under external factors, like freezing temperatures, that water becomes into ice. And then it is solid. It does not flow. So it may seem that the dharma of water has changed. And that is called nemitic dharma. Because of external factors, external nimitta, sorry for using technical terms here, external nimitta are factors that Nitya Dharma has changed to naimitic dharma, which is now it has become solid. And a person in the freezing temperature, like an Eskimo, they may make igloo out of a house out of that water. It is water, right? In the form of ice, which is solid. And he may think, oh, I've seen, this seems to be natural. This seems to be the real dharma. But actually, that's not the real dharma of water. When the external factors are gone, it again turns into liquid. Similarly, that's how we are not meant to suffer in this world. That's not we are anandamaya bhyasat. We are pleasure seeking. We are Satchid Ananda. That's the nature of the soul. But because of this body covered with different coverings, we misidentify ourselves with the material body. And as a result, we suffer. So the wisdom, that's the second line. The wisdom relieves a person of the misery caused by his identifying with his material body. That's the misidentification with the body leads to material suffering. There's one beautiful verse, Deha, I'm not able, let me search. Deha buddhi nahi yar, something like that. Deha buddhi nahi yar. What's that? That one who's not cognizant of one who's not considering that he is the body, then there's no question of misery. Okay, this is Prabhupada writing here. I'll just share it here. Prabhupada is writing this. Dehatma buddhi yar sei jada dehe. Prabhupada is writing this song. Dehatma buddhi yar sei jada dehe, sei dehe aswadana nahi kore dekehe. One who has the material concept that the body is the self cannot relish spiritual mellows. So in short, easier said than done. We have heard this 108 times or 1,008 times. We are not the body, but we are spirit souls. But it's not so easy to really experience it, to really realize it. But the more and more we try to do activities for our spirit, for our true self, that is the spirit, then we can come to that level, slow and steady. If you're doing more activities for the body, less activities for the spirit, then that consciousness will be reinforced. So that was the second analogy, you can say. Two analogies here. One, this one, and one, the separation of the gopis. So the autumn, basically, the sun rays come. The autumn moon. So the moon is cool and soothing, and it relieves the creatures from the sun rays, from the strong sun rays. Any more thoughts, comments anyone has in this text? Okay, let's move on to text 43. Who would like to read this? Yes, Baldev Prabhu, please.
Thank you, Guruji. Housing devotees, the Lord Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada, text 43. Kam ashobhata nirmegam sharad bimalo tarokam sapto yuktam jatha chittam shabda brahmartha darshanam. Translation purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada and his disciples ki joy. Translation: free of clouds and filled with clearly visible stars, the autumn sky shone brilliantly, just like the spiritual consciousness of one who has directly experienced the purport of the Vedic scriptures. Purport: the clear and starry autumn sky can also be compared to the pure heart of the devotee. The spiritual nature is always brilliant, clean, and blissful. And this spiritual nature called Vaikuntha immediately satisfies all the desires of the soul. This is secret of Krishna consciousness. Very nice purport. So here the analogy of autumn sky, which is clear of cloud, and we see very beautiful and blissful to our eyes, that is equivalent to the consciousness or spiritual nature of a devotee, and that consciousness always clean, brilliant, and blissful. That's why a lot of devotees got attracted to the great devotees, especially we see in Prabhupada. He attracted all the devotees everywhere because he was brilliant, clean, and blissful. And in any position, they are happy because they're chanting the holy name all the time and connected to the Krishna. So they are always situated in the Vaikuntha without any kuntha, no anxiety. That's why they are happy in any conditions. Material condition never put them as cannot disturb them. And that is the real consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Very nice, Prabhu. The clouds here are, again compared to the cleansing, right? The sky is free from the clouds. So the consciousness of a pure-hearted devotee is free from the ignorance, passion, any of those material clouds. And then he can see Krishna clearly. Then, because there is no covering there, it is like the noon sun, or it is like the you can say the as here the pole star, right? Very clearly visible stars. In the dark night, the clear pole star is very, very clearly perceptible. For one who has realized this means he's overcome the clouds of darkness and the material modes, and that person is always in the Satchidananda Brahma-bhuta Prasannatma, Brahma-bhuta or Satchidananda. Then this is Bhakti, this is pure Krishna consciousness. They are experiencing that joy, they're radiating with that joy. They are radiating with that brilliance. We have discussed this earlier also. Thank you. Any other thoughts or comments? Anyone has any additions, questions? Okay, next verse, text 44. Anyone wants to read this? Text 44.
Hi, Prabhuji, Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, devotees, Śrīmad ki jai. Akhanda mandalu vyomini rarajodu ganesha shashi yatha yadupati Krishna Vrishni chakravitu bhuvi. Translation by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The full moon shone in the sky, surrounded by stars, Just as Sri Krishna, the Lord of the Yadu dynasty, shone brilliantly on the earth, surrounded by all the Vishnus. Purport. Srila Sanatana Goswami explains that in Vrindavan, the full moon is eternally rising, and this full moon is like the full manifestation of the absolute truth, Sri Krishna. When he was manifest on earth, Lord Krishna was surrounded by prominent members of the Vishnu dynasty, such as Nanda, Upananda, Vasudeva, and Akrura. So again, another analogy. This time, the full moon is compared to Shri Krishna, who is always surrounded by his clothes, and this clothes is compared to the stars. The clothes, his clothes relatives like Nanda Maharaj, Upananda, the elder brother, Vasudeva, and Akrura. So Krishna is like the moon among the stars, shining brilliantly, and that is how the autumn is being compared with Krishna, giving shelter and as well as all brilliance to the Vrajgas. That's what Prabhu Bhakti.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So here the moon is Krishna, surrounded by stars. Stars are who? Who are the stars?
Vishnu dynasty. The members of the Vishnu dynasty.
Yes. Vrishni Chakra. It reminds me of a beautiful verse from Mukundamala Stotra. You remember Mukundamala Stotra is written by Kulashikra Alvar, whom we were reading about a few days back. Let's read this beautiful verse. Jayatu Jayatu Devo Devaki Nandanoyam Jayatu Jayatu Krishna Vrishni Vamsha Pradipa Jayatu Jayatu Megha Shamala Komalango Jayatu Jayatu Prithvi Bharanasho Mukunda. Here also, Vrishni Vamsha Pradipa. Is the Vrishni Vamsha Pradipa, the beacon light. In Hindi they say Kul ka chirag, right? People say, oh, mere Kul ka chirag. Like, the beacon light of my Kul. Krishna is also called, is like that. Can anyone tell a verse? Kul? That you are the light of our Kul Nandana. Anyone recalls a verse which you all learned, which has the word Kula Nandana? Kula Nandana. He Rama Gacha Tata Shu Sanuja Kula Nandana. Remember that? We learned that. Pratahir Kataharas Swayam Shaiva Ataiva. What's that word? That you have eaten in the morning. Krishna's mother is calling, saying, hey Balram, call your hey Ram, Agacha, Tata Shu, Jaldi aao, come fast, right? And also bring Sanuja, your Anuja, your younger brother. Oh, Kula Nandana, he's the Kula Nandana. He's the beacon light of our Kula. He's the one, here as mentioned, Vrishni Vamsha Pradipa, surrounded by, or the word is Vrishni Chakra Avrita. He is like the moon is surrounded by different stars, but the moon's brilliance is something different, like a full moon. So Krishna is that full moon. Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Mayapur Chandra Uday Mandir, Prabhupada named that as Mayapur Chandra Uday. He is on the day of God Purnima, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the God Purnima. It's the 15th day of the Shukla Paksha, or the moon is rising, and the full moon. So in this day and age, in the dark age of Kali, the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is like the full moon. The Vaishnavas are like the full moon. Lord Krishna is like the full moon. The holy name is like the full moon, which gives light in the dark age of Kali. So beautiful. Any other thoughts, comments anyone has? Any additions? Okay, text number 45. Who would like to read? Okay.
Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji.
Yes, please, Arun Prabhu.
Aschilasya samashitoshna prasun navana marutam janastapam jahiri gopyo na Krishna hrut chetasa. हाँ प्रभु जी. Purport and translation by Srila Prabhupada. ऐसी भक्तांत श्री डिवाइन श्रील प्रभुपाद जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Except for the gopis been stolen by Krishna, the people could forget their suffering by embracing the wind coming from the flower-filled forest. This wind was neither hot nor cold. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Arun Prabhu, especially joining from India in such early hours of your day and reading Bhagavatam. Thank you. Except for the gopis whose hearts had been stolen by Krishna, the people could forget their suffering by embracing the wind coming from the flower-filled forest. There's no purport here, but I'm going to read from Light of Bhagavata, where there are Prabhupada's comments. At the night in autumn, atmosphere is pleasant, right? It's pleasant. That means it's not too hot, it's not too cold. We cannot tolerate too cold, chilly breeze, right? Anyone likes that? Too cold on your skin. No one likes that. And too hot, that's called lu. We don't like that either. So autumn nights are quite pleasant. That's the mild wind blowing through the gardens of fruits and flowers in Vrindavan appeared very much pleasing to all. And especially now the temperature is right, and it's, even if it is good wind, the temperature is right, but it is coming from a gutter. It's blowing over a gutter. Will we like it? It's with the foul smell, gutter, sewage. We won't like it. But it's coming from flower-filled forest. That means it's carrying that aroma. It's carrying that nice fragrance of flowers. So the temperature, two things: the quality or the aroma of the air and the temperature, both are important. So both are very favorable in the autumn. So everyone was very happy. It was very pleasing, but the gopis were not. Let's understand a little more. There are two kinds of transcendental feelings for those engaged in the transcendental worship of the Lord: Sambhoga and Viraha. According to the authorities in the disciplic line, Viraha worship is more palatable than the Sambhoga worship. Sambhoga takes place in the direct touch. Viraha takes place without such direct contact. Sambhoga means together, union, and viraha means separation. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to accept viraha worship. In the present state, we cannot make any direct contact or touch with this Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if we practice the viraha mode of worship, we can transcendentally realize the presence of Lord more loving than in his presence. I'll repeat this line. If we practice the viraha mode of worship, we can transcendentally realize the presence of the Lord more loving in his presence or than his presence. Does it make sense? If we practice this Bhakti Yoga in the disciplic succession of Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Parampara, which is what we are following in the Iskcon Parampara, we don't say, oh, Krishna is my friend. Oh, Krishna, I see Krishna. I talk to Krishna all the time. This. Our acharyas are always hankering. When will I see Krishna? When will that day come? When I'll get to see Krishna. Gopis are praying, when will I get glimpse of Krishna? So in that way, they are always thinking of Krishna. They are 24/7 Krishna conscious in the viraha mode of worship. And this is more sweeter than the presence. I was hearing a class, or maybe I should, I'm just thinking it will be better if I connect that. I'm not sure if I'll be able to quickly find it. I was hearing a short, these YouTube shots. So I was hearing one of the shots by His Grace Gauranga Prabhu. Then I'm not able to figure out, but I know the essence. So someone asked him, what would you like to do more? Would you like to be in the presence of Krishna or see Krishna, or would you like to get someone or assist someone to get closer to Krishna? Is the question clear? Two options. You want to see Krishna or be with Krishna all the time, or you want to be assisting someone getting close to Krishna. He said second. Because in that way, Krishna will be more pleased and he will be doing, he said, I'll be doing the service which is pleasing to Krishna all the time. Very beautiful answer. So we are not, don't try to see Krishna, try to serve Krishna so that Krishna wants to see you. Many times quoted. So the point here is viraha worship. Viraha mode of worship is even sweeter. Without love of Godhead, there is no meaning even to direct contact. Such a deep line. Should I repeat it? Without love of Godhead, there is no meaning even to direct contact. Even if Krishna comes right now face to face, what will we do? Oh, sorry, I have to watch my TV. My cricket match is going on. So Krishna, please wait for some time. Right? Or my office meeting is going on. Please, Krishna, hold on. Like the Kailash and Narad Muni story. Narad Muni, pure Vaishnava, coming, Kailash busy in his stuff. Right? So because there is no love. We have to ask that question to ourselves. If Narad Muni comes and says, hey, Shubh Vilas Govindas, you want to go? Come with me. Are you ready? How many will I say, I'm ready to go with you? Well, I say, no, what about my job? I have an important meeting tomorrow. Right? What about my salary? What about my home? What about my car? Right? What about this? What about that? It's a question to ask ourselves. During the presence of the Lord, there were thousands and thousands of men, but because they were not in love of Godhead, they could hardly realize the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. right? Shishupal also saw Krishna. Dantavakra also saw Krishna. Duryodhana also saw Krishna. No love. Raimanja Churita. One who's, in fact, they saw Krishna as an enemy. Many people come to the temple. Some people find faults with the deities. Hey, why is this like that? It should not be like that. Or why are you worshipping a stone? Right? They are seeing Krishna, but they're not seeing Krishna. Because there is no love. There is no love. Therefore, we must first activate our dormant love of Godhead by following the prescribed rules and following in the footsteps of the authorities who are actually fixed in the love of Godhead. That's what we are trying to do here by following in the footsteps of authorities like Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, reading Bhagavatam. These are all different limbs to rekindle that love of God. I do not have that, but I want to develop that. I have a desire. I right now, the natural, the Nitya Dharma is under the grip of the external situations. Therefore, I am more attached to materialistic things and less attached to Krishna. But that's what we are trying to shift. The gopis provided the highest example of such unalloyed love of God, and Lord Chaitanya, at the ultimate stage of self-realization, displayed the viraha worship in the mood of the gopis. Viraha worship in the mood of gopis, separation. In the mundane world, there is also some shadow of such viraha. Shadow of such viraha. It's not real viraha, but some semblance. A loving wife, husband, or a friend may for some time be maddened by the absence of the beloved. Right? Let's say our child is very far for many years, or let's say our husband is very far for many years, and maybe they have gone for long, or the wife or someone could be for dark, it could be to any relative, friend, etc. Such state of mind, however, is not permanent. Correct? The loving husband or wife takes to another and forgets everything of the past. It happens all the time. Let's say someone very nice couple, but somehow, let's say one person passed away and then the other person gets remarried, and then forget about it. Like after it, for some it could be a day, some it could be a month, some it could be a year. Life keeps going on. This is so because there is no reality to such relationships in the material world. So true. The spiritual situation, however, is completely different. A bona fide lover of God could never forget him, even in the exchange of everything else. Wow. Like Prahlad, like Haridas Thakur. The devotee of the Lord cannot be happy in any circumstance without the Lord. So true. Cannot be happy in any circumstance without the Lord. Like a fish cannot be happy without the water. So if we are feeling happy without Krishna consciousness, that something is, or if we are more happy in material things and less happy in Krishna consciousness, then also something, we are not truly happy, or that flickering happiness will fade away fast and the reality will dawn upon us very fast. So in short, the real happiness is in Krishna consciousness. In the absence of the Lord, the devotee associates with him by remembering his separation, and because the Lord is absolute, the devotee's feeling of separation is transcendentally more relishable than direct contact. Wow. This is possible only when we develop genuine love for him. Only when there is love, then there is, let's say, I don't even know my neighbor, and if I'm separated from my neighbor, there's no big deal. When we love someone and we are separated, then we feel the pain. Let's say we love our child or our daughter or our son, and somehow they are away for a week, for a month, or for a year, we feel that separation. That's as mentioned here, a semblance of that. That's what the gopis would feel. Multiply that with 100 zillion times. How much more that separation they would feel. At least we can think. Or in that state, the devotee is always with the Lord by feelings of separation, which become more acute and intolerable in suitable circumstances. The mild wind reminded the gopis of the association of the Lord, and they felt separation from him acutely. Acutely, they felt that separation. So back to this translation. Everyone was, everyone appeared. The people could forget their suffering by embracing the wind. But to the gopis, it was reminding them of Krishna. We were having this discussion in the kids' class, how to see Krishna everywhere, just on Sunday. Let's say your child, who has graduated and now is in college, but he used to use this pen a lot, right? And let's say you see this pen, because she used to use that pen a lot. What will be you reminded of when you see this pen? Your child is not here now at home. He or she is somewhere far away, 1,000 miles away in some college. Guess what? This pen will remind us, right? It will remind us of our child. It could be child, it could be mother, father, it could be an article, it could be anything, right? It will remind us. Correct? Are you all able to relate, right? It will remind us because there is some attachment, there is some love, there is some reciprocation. And as we discussed, this is a million times more. This is shadow. That is real. The gopis' love is real. So it is reminding them very acutely, very, very deeply. It is reminding them. Normal people, oh, the wind is blowing. What the big deal? Nice, pleasant wind. But to the gopis, they're thinking of Krishna. So ordinary people see spiritual stuff, think of matter. Ordinary people see spiritual things and perceive as matter. They may come to the temple, oh, what's the big deal? Just some stone statues, some marble statues. They may see pure Vaishnava, oh, these also have 2 hands, I also have 2 hands, what's the big deal? Seeing great spiritual things, but thinking of matter. Pure-hearted spiritualists, those have true love for Krishna, they are seeing apparently material things like the wind here, but it is reminding them of complete spiritual stuff, Krishna. So this is because they have so much love, because they have that connection with the Lord, very deep. If you want to hear that class, you can see it was uploaded yesterday. Sunday's class with the kids was nice discussion. So if you want, you can hear that Sunday nights. But I shared 1 or 2 points from there. So I'll take a pause here. Any thoughts, any comments anyone has?
Hare Kṛṣṇa Prabhuji. So this Vigraha and Shambhu, also these both will be present in the Golok Vrindavan, because in my little understanding that when you go back to the Golok Vrindavan, will be always in association with the Krishna, with serving Krishna. So that will give us immense pleasure and association.
It is there. It is there. These are very high levels of rasa. These are there's a whole, topic and then very deep discussion. Krishna is sometimes right in front of his pure devotees, the gopis, but still they are feeling intense separation from him. Now it's very hard for us to understand. It's very hard for us to even comprehend how we can link it. A semblance of that is Krishna orchestrate his pastimes to arrange, that. It is basically, he's with the gopis, but the gopis are feeling separation. It is called Prem Vichitya, very high topic. But yes, the answer is yes. Both are experienced there, according to what the mood, so the flavors, all flavors are there. Krishna can be simultaneously present and not present because he's Krishna. So, thank you.
And one more question on this. Sorry, Mataji, please go ahead. I'll ask.
Please go ahead, Prabhuji. Please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
So the people could forget the suffering by embracing the wind. So this suffering means their separation from Krishna, or this mental separation. And Gopi's separation always persists. On the other hand, Gopi's separation always persists.
Since there is no direct reference here in the purport, there is no purport here, or so we can consider it both ways, that some people are happy to be with Krishna, right? But the gopis, they feel the separation more intense. That could be one meaning. The other meaning could be ordinary people, they're seeing the wind and they're, oh, nice breeze, nice flower-filled forest coming. They are feeling it comfortable, nice, pleasant, but the gopis are getting acute remembrance of Krishna, and they are having that separation. So the fire of separation is intensifying, feeling that wind. So both meanings can be perceived here, and both are correct. Very well. Yes, Shilpa Mataji, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam, devotees. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I think I just want to say thank you for detailedly explaining. Yes, it makes a lot of sense. And I had a question which I think you already answered, which kind of relates to what Prabhuji was asking at the second question, that in the material world, if I relates to your class too, kids class too, if I'm walking around, being in the car or looking at the tree, and I could see Krishna sitting on the tip of the leaf with a flute just swinging around, like that. If I can see everywhere Krishna, it gives bliss, right? That somebody is Krishna is watching, and that's cute smile and so forth. So which is a, do we still, my question was, is that still considered as a separation? And then I think you answered it even more, going deeper. If being in this material world and looking at Krishna and giving happiness itself is happiness, how much of a happiness would it be if I'm with Krishna, serving him, and directly, looking at him and so forth? So that would be even more happiness, right? In that way, is it called viraha? That was my question, Prabhuji. I think, I'm assuming it's yes, but I would like to hear from you more. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, can you again ask your question in maybe one line or like what? I got your point, but to be
So,
more precise, yeah, if you could
sorry,
again
Prabhuji,
rephrase.
my voice may be breaking too. So I was just trying to check in this material world, um, um, not imagining, but if our consciousness is looking for Krishna or looking at Krishna everywhere that we do, or on whatever we do, and everywhere that we see, not 100%, but when we are in that mode of consciousness and we do see Krishna everywhere, which gives bliss, which is giving bliss, would that be considered as viraha as well? And if so, is it because having him directly will give even more bliss? In that sense, is the first thing considered as viraha?
Again, yes and no, both. Like, if you think like Prahlad, was he always with Krishna? Yes. Was he away from Krishna? Someone can answer that also as yes. But in his heart, like Prabhupada, was he away from Vrindavan? Someone would say yes. Was he really away from Vrindavan? No. Prabhupada said, I never left Vrindavan. Now someone say he circled it 14 times the globe. Then how can you say he never left Vrindavan? Because he was carrying Vrindavan everywhere. So pure Vaishnavas, they are always Krishna conscious, always seeing Krishna, and always 100%, whether they are in the beautiful Krishna temple or they are in a Jalduta ship. For people like us or myself, when we are in office, the perception of Krishna could be mild, correct? But when we are in the midst of a Bhagavatam class or in the chanting and dancing of devotees, it's much intense, correct?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So, but for a pure Vaishnava, it is at the peak all the time, newer and newer peaks. It keeps intensifying. So this is my limited understanding, but I hope that helps.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Please go
Devaki
ahead.
Mataji wants to add.
Prabhuji, when we are in Mauritius, when we are reading, we are with Krishna. When we are reading Bhagavatam, we are with Krishna. Pulling the classes, we are with Krishna. Now, just imagine when we are in Vrindavan. Fully 100% consciousness is there with Krishna. We are always with Krishna, isn't it? So we can make the comparison like this. This is how I make it. When we're in Vrindavan, it's 100%. No? We are with Krishna. Everywhere we see only Krishna. In devotees, in temple, in the restaurant, everywhere we see only Krishna and Krishna. This is my experience, Prabhuji.
Absolutely, absolutely. That surrounding matters in a conditioned state like myself. That external circumstances do matter, but that's what, like direct and indirect. If we are not able to see Krishna during a Bhagavatam class, how difficult will it be to see Krishna during a bus drive or a bus journey or a car journey, right? So this helps us to train us. Like this is a training under Guru Sadhu Shastra, so that we can try to be always Krishna conscious, like Prabhupada. Like going to holy places is a training to see Krishna. Meeting with devotees is also helping us to train our eyes, to put that, I would suggest you can hear that class. We discussed a lot of examples that I'm not going to cover. It's a whole 1 hour. You can hear that if you like. It's on YouTube. But yeah, nice example. Yes, Philip Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Dhanyavad Pranam, devotees. So nice to hear your reflections. I just wanted to check, Prabhuji, if I'm doing this correctly. This is something I sort of fall into in my own life. When, say, I experience a beautiful sunset, or I'm eating some very nice food, or I'm very thirsty and I am getting a very nice cold drink of water, or like if there's a fragrant wind, flowers, fragrance blowing through the backyard or something. I think previously, before I came to Krishna consciousness, I was in ignorance because it felt like I was enjoying all those things. But truly, all of that is an extension of Krishna's Prakriti, and including my notion of I consciousness. So if I can attempt to try to get out of Krishna's way and sort of invite him, who is in my heart at all times, to basically, like, if I can serve him the sunset on a platter and say, here, Krishna, you take this is yours anyway. May I please just stand by and watch you enjoy this through me somehow. And I try to do that over and over again. And in that way, deify beautiful experiences as an attempt to dissolve my own I consciousness and to serve Krishna all the beauty that is his anyway. I hope that made sense. And I'm just checking if that's correct. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely on the right track. Many people go to sunset to see sunset, or to go to the ocean, or let me catch that perfect tide, right? And surf there. Prabhupada used to call surfing as suffering, right? Many people die in surfing, right? So the problem there is, let me catch that. Let me catch that perfect moment. Let me catch that perfect picture. Let me hold. Some people try to catch this like sun in their hand and stuff. Again, I conscious. That's not the mood. I mean, there's nothing harm in seeing sunset. Very nice experience. But we should see, oh, wow, the creation is so beautiful. How beautiful the creator must be. When we see a beautiful mountain, when we see a beautiful, and we should see, in the Krishna says, I am the intelligence of the intelligent. When we see someone very intelligent, we should see, wow, look at Krishna's, intelligence. A tiny spark of his splendor. Yad vibhuti mat sartvam Śrīmad urjitameva tat evavagachatvam tam tejo amsa sambhavam. Everyone is a spark of his splendor. The sunset is a spark of his splendor. He's the source of all the suns, millions of zillions of suns, millions of moon. People like to see the full moon, right? So sun and the moon are the eyes of Krishna. We should be able to link that. This blue color reminds us of Krishna's blue color. The dark monsoon cloud. Oh, wow, this is the exact same color. Again, I would encourage, everyone, if you are interested, to look at that reference. We covered a lot of references also there in that class yesterday, day before. So, yes, that's the idea. Rather than trying to enjoy in the sense, yes, bhakti is joyful, but we should be able to connect it to the source. Creation implies creator. The beautiful rose. Different people see rose. Different people have different emotions. Someone say, oh, I'll give this to my girlfriend. Someone says, what big deal? So many roses, ignore it. Someone will say, this is very nice. I'll put it on my head, in my hairs, right? And it will make me more beautiful, right? This red rose. And people will say, oh, how beautiful you look. Oh, look at your rose. Oh, your hairs are looking so beautiful. The consciousness, I, right? But someone will say, wow, such a beautiful rose, such a beautiful creation. How does it come? Like, me and my wife were walking, and the other day, we were just thinking, like, the trees, how do they know when they have to shed their leaves? And suddenly at a time comes, which the time for like the champa trees, it's now the leaves start to come on their own. It's not on their own. The perfect, intelligent creator is sitting. And how it happens, the timer turns on, like it's not a machine. There is an intelligent creator behind. The leaves come, beautiful flowers come, and the fragrance come. How does it come? So that it all help us to see that connection of God in every aspect of life. And then use it for him, not for self. Yes, that's the mood of a practicing Vaishnava. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says multiple times, I'm the wealth of the wealthy, strength of the strong, intelligence of the intelligent. Amongst the mountains, I'm the Himalayas. Amongst the stars, I am this. Amongst the Daityas, I am this. Amongst the Purushas, I am this. Amongst the fishes, I am this. He's so many ways. Why all that? To help us see Krishna in every aspect of life. And one, we covered this verse yesterday again. We're practically covering the whole class. Today, 6.30. Those who see me in everything in me, I am never lost to them. They are never lost to me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 30. Let's read that for our purification, and then we will pause for today.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji. Can I add something more?
Sure.
Yeah, Prabhuji, when Prabhupada was among the hippies at that time, he was always surrounded by professionals, by first-class artists and all, no? So I remember one story, I read it somewhere. Prabhupada said one of the artists, he drew a nice picture of either sunset or sunrise, I don't remember nicely. And he was showing that picture to what he drew, what he painted, he was showing that to Prabhupada. And he wanted to have the view of Prabhupada, asking, how do you find this scene, Prabhupada? And Prabhupada said, this, where's Krishna in that? No, it's not good at all. It's not beautiful. Then that Prabhu went back and added the picture of Krishna in that sunrise or sunset, I don't remember. Then Prabhupada liked that picture. So everything should be with Krishna. This is what I recollect, Prabhuji. Back to you.
Yes. Okay, we'll end this with this verse. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sa cha me na pranashyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. That's what we are trying to get to. This is again from Bhagavad Gita. Many, many verses are in this connection. So I know we're a little over time, so we will pause here and continue tomorrow. But I'm so grateful for your association. Granthraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samavita Gaur Bhakta ki jai, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaः. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada.
Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you. Dandavat pranam.
Hare
Thank you, Roji.
Krishna.